I think it's because they think it's going to come off as pushy. They're going to be, I don't know. They look at it as like a huge deal. When in all reality, that person that you're talking to, they know that you're there to sell them. They know that you're there to close them. So if you don't do this, it's just really awkward.
That scared the shit out of me, but like it made things so weird.
If
like,
you don't close,
I
right?
called. I don't know who I called like after my first door, but like I had them sold and I didn't know how to close. And then like we were both just like for like 10 seconds like staring at each other and like I didn't know what to do or say, like, you know, because like I knew I had them, but like it's like catching a fish and not reeling it in. You know what I'm saying? Like
That's a really good analogy.
Yeah,
I like that.
So like I was just like I just didn't know what to say or do. So it's weird. Like it really is awkward. You have to like just saying their what's your last name or like asking them a question on the sheet, you know, that you have in your hand, like literally just what's your email address or what's your street address. That's a close, you know, like and just continue to fill that out, and you're just you're continuing that process of closing, because by the time that you ask for the credit card or phone number or email address, like you're gonna know if they're actually gonna buy or not, you know, like nobody's gonna hand their credit card over and they're not buying it, even though you get to that point and they're like, okay, no, I'm good, but you know, you resolve ace close again, you're gonna do it 4 or 5 times in a sell. So
yeah, so on average you're gonna have to go through this process a minimum of 4 if not 7 times, but we're gonna give you guys I think 10 to 12 closes, and then you have like 13 to 14 aces, so you have more than enough to go through that process 4 to 7 times. If you're not, and what's tricky about that is that these people are basically telling you no in so many words. Well, I need to talk to my wife, I don't like chemicals, I don't want to be in a contract, I don't want a winter service. That's them saying no in, you know, so many words. But you have to resolve ace close until they slam the door in your face, or until they they basically give you the same objection 3 times. I need to talk to my wife, I need to talk to my wife, I need to talk to my wife. They say it 3 times, you probably can't convince them otherwise, right? But you have to go through this process a minimum of 4, if not 7 times on every door. And one good rule of thumb, which just sounds kind of silly, but if you forget everything, you're up there and you just draw a blank, you're like halfway through service. Close. Just close. Because what's going to happen is when you close them, it's going to either draw out an objection, or they're going to say yes. And if they draw out an objection, you have this process and you're going to know how to overcome it. But you have to close regardless. Any questions about any of that? No? Okay, do y'all want to take a picture of that? Because I'm going to erase some of it. Josh, have you started on this yet? Resolve ace close?
We briefly talked about it.
So you haven't like practiced at all?
No.
Devin, Bruce, what would you say is your most like? What is the most effective close? Do you think?
I like responsibility and feature. So can you leave that garage door open when I'm here tomorrow?
Yeah.
Can you make sure the back gate's unlocked so I can get to the back? And then a feature. Would you like me to go ahead and include the back deck while I'm here? Because it's like, I don't know. I think it's really soft but really effective.
I like the way you ask questions. Main reason why I just got off work, but I knew like to come to yours because like what I like about your pitch the most, and I think you find the most success in, is the way you ask questions throughout your pitch.
Yep.
Like you're very informative in a way of like you ask them questions that if they can't back, you literally back them in that corner by asking the questions of like, you know, just basically this isn't how you ask it, but like, do you see spiders? And then when they say yes, they can't disagree with you later whenever like you close them on the spiders, you know?
Yeah.
Because they've already said yes to that. So it makes them feel like, okay, now I have to buy. Now because
100%.
you're going against your own word at that point.
And that's called like yes training, right? So it's like, you know how you get the spiders and wasps up here, right? You know how you get these cracks and crevices down here, right? I mean, the bugs are coming from somewhere, right? So if you can get them to verbalize the word yes, the magic number is 7. If you can get them to verbalize the words yes 7 times throughout your presentation, they're like 60% more likely to buy from you. But yeah, that's really good. Another thing that I've done that's unrelated to this year is I ask open-ended questions throughout the pitch. How long have you guys been in the home? Do you have kids or pets? How old are they? And then I use that information to tailor my presentation to them specifically, right? So if they have kids or pets and they're between, you know, the ages of 4 and 10, yeah, that way the kids can get out here and kick the soccer ball around without getting chewed up by, you know, the fleas, the ticks, the chiggers. But I think that's kind of a little higher level stuff, but I think it makes all the difference in the world. Okay, so
I think it changed everything for you at that point. Like I remember you like changing that this summer, and then after that you just like.
And the thing is like it's just consistent diligence. You know what I'm saying? You just got to get out there and get after it every day, all day, every day, and it's
tweak it to what you personally.
Yeah, and I would say as rookies, there's like kind of some there's kind of some things like for me, like I'm not going to spend time with the unworthy prospect. So if they tell me, I've gotten really good at reading people and understanding if they're going to buy, if they're interested, or if they're not. And I don't spend time with unworthy prospects. But for you guys as rookies, I would really recommend, especially the first 3 weeks to a month, just drill every single prospect that gets in front of you. Just push them as far as you can. Even if you know they're not going to buy, it's going to give you practice, and it's going to give you, more experience in recognizing the people, overcoming the objections, and it's just going to build your skill set overall. But okay, so the do's is going to be very similar to what we said. So do, smile, and head nod. And you want to do this slowly, right? And you don't want to be like cheesing, like, yeah, of course, man. Like, you don't want to be like that. You want it to be like kind of Rico Suave. Yeah, of course, man. I completely understand. You never negative head nod. That's one thing as well. A lot of rookies are guilty of. They're like, yeah, that way you're not going to have any more spiders inside. That's going to create negative, like subconscious negative agreements or disagreements, I guess would be the better way to put that. So you only positively head nod unless they're talking about something really tragic. You don't want to be smiling and head nodding then. But always smile and head nod slowly. This is a really good one that I think is a secret. You want to be excited. You want to be excited when they're giving you a concern. The reason is the entire time you're giving this presentation, you're essentially giving it to a blank slate, right? You have no idea what makes this person tick. You have no idea what this person values. But as soon as they start giving you objections, you understand how interested they are, what their biggest concerns are, and then you can therefore tailor your presentation to them specifically. So be really excited when you get objections. Like, absolutely, man. I'm so glad you brought that up. So on and so forth. Another thing is, this is the key with switchovers too. And this is a side note, but if somebody tells you they have a company, you should get really freaking excited, because that means that person is willing to spend money on pest control. They see the value in it. And then more than likely, we're beating their service, we're using better products, and we're doing it for cheaper. So at that point, it's a totally logical sell. Always rack. So you approach every single concern with the resolve-based close process. You want this to generally be a minute or less, tops a minute and a half. If your resolve-based close process is going into 2 and 3 minutes long, you're not doing it right. You're going to lose their attention. But always approach it with the resolve-based close process. Don't try to wing it. Don't try to reinvent the wheel, because obviously there's been a lot of success through these processes. Any questions about anything so far? Nope. Okay. So maintain eye contact. One thing that is going to be really important, and I'm going to go over don'ts as well, and it'll kind of be the contrast to this. But if you start looking away, shifting your feet, swallowing, pursing your lips, you do any of those things, and they're not even going to consciously recognize it, I don't think. I don't think they're going to know, oh, he looked down, I got him beat. They're not going to think that, but subconsciously, they're going to realize that you're not confident, and then therefore they're not going to trust you, not going to buy from you. So always maintain the normal eye contact. And then turn your negatives into positives.
Especially when we're going to New York, dude. Like, those people are gonna be fucking brutal. So you're gonna have to be just like big dick energy the whole time on their porch, dude. I swear.
Yeah, for sure. Awesome. That's the best part about us. I'm super glad you brought that up. And then have 3 responses for every objection. So you guys have access to so much information. We don't really have enough time to go over this and explain all the 3 responses for every concern, but you have access to a training manual that's going to give you responses for every one of them. You got access to like tons and tons of videos. Take the time before the season starts to go out and watch these videos and write down 3 responses for everyone, and then decide what order am I going to use these in, because they're going to give you the same objection 2 to 3 times, and you're going to have to overcome it 2 to 3 times. And then another thing is recognize the difference between a hard no and a soft no, but we won't really get into that right now. But it's up to you guys to get this done. It's going to be really hard for a team leader to sit down. It's going to take like an hour and a half, 2 hours to teach you all these responses. Take the time on your own and learn it. But besides, this is a very self-starting. You have to initiate things yourself if you want to really be successful here. But that's a part of the reason why it's so rewarding personally and financially. All in all, so never take off your cool, calm, and collected mask. The way I view objections, when these people give you objections, this is the way I view it. I feel like it's kind of like, I don't know, not fucked up, but you have to, the way I view it, it is my job to make them feel like they should have never even said that, right? I need to talk to my wife. Of course, man, everybody needs to talk to their wife. Like, why'd you say that? You know what I mean? And like, if you can do these things, you smile, head nod, you're excited, you maintain your eye contact, you turn the negative into a positive, they're gonna feel like, oh wow, yeah, he's right. I mean, this isn't a big deal, man, it's pest control, man. Here's my credit card, right? So you never take off your cool, calm, and collected mask. As soon as you start getting nervous, swallowing, looking away, pursing your lips, they're gonna recognize that, and I don't think it's a conscious thing, but they're gonna subconsciously not trust you, and they're not gonna buy from you. Okay, so some don'ts. Don't look down or away. If you look down, you look away, you start cutting your eyes, it's going to tell them that you're stumped, that they beat you. And again, they're not going to buy from you if they know they can beat you. This is a big one. Don't shuffle your feet. Or rock your body. I call this the pee-pee dance. But the whole time they're presenting like, hey, how's it going? I'm Bruce. I'm here with Aptive. It's pest control. It looks nervous, right? It's like, man, do you want to come in and use the bathroom, dude? You good? Like, so never shuffle your feet or rock your body, especially when you're overcoming objections, but in general. You don't want to be shifting your feet because while you're there, you're supposed to create your office, right? Like you're in, when they step onto their front porch, they're in your office. And if you're nervous, moving around, your arm movements are all sporadic, you're not in your office, man. Like, you look nervous. So never rock your body or shuffle your feet. What I do specifically to prevent this, you guys can get it, well, you can get it from Daniel. My first ever training, the whole time I'm doing the pitch, I'm just like, you know what I mean? But what I do is when I'm on their step, I will put one foot on one step and then one foot back. Because if I'm like this, I can't shuffle my feet. Like, it forces me to stay planted. So I'm presenting to them with, and I also think it kind of gives off like a machismo vibe, you know what I mean? Like Captain Morgan.
Look at my nits.
Yeah, like, you see these boats? So never shuffle your feet. Make it a game. Don't lose the game by looking down, shuffling, etc. Bottom line, do not show any discomfort. It needs to seem like you have heard this and you were expecting this and you know how to deal with it. This is something that rookies are really bad for, I think, is don't repeat the concern. So give me an objection, Devin.
I don't like contracts.
Oh, you don't like contracts? Me neither, man. And that wasn't really a good example, but the reason you don't repeat their concern is because it validates it in their
I'll do
head.
it again and now don't repeat it.
Huh?
I'll do it again and they'll be able to see. I don't like contracts.
Absolutely, man. That's actually the best part about us. And I'm not going to go into the whole thing, but like the way I view it is if you repeat their concern, it's going to validate it in their head. And I believe in energy, law of attraction, law of association, all that. I think it gives that objection double energy. Now that it's been verbalized twice, the idea, the concepts, and the energy of that objection is now double. You say it again, you're tripling it, quadrupling it, so on and so forth. So never repeat their concern. Yeah, right here. If you say it again, you give it double power. Don't take longer than 1 minute. To rack. Okay, so this is something that I'm particularly not the best at. I'm a very lengthy, detail-oriented sales guy. So like, I don't know, it's just my style. I talk a lot. But the reason why we don't take longer than a minute to resolve a close is because who's the person that's lying? The person that is direct and short and terse to the answer, or the person that's rambling on and on and on?
Rambling.
The person that's rambling, right? Oh yeah, man, Dom, I can't get my hair cut today, dude. I mean, I was busy, then I had to go get my car fixed, and then you know what, I had a training too. I mean, I don't know, man, I just can't really do it. I don't know. It's nervous, right? Like if you're just rambling on and on, you don't seem confident. You don't seem cool, calm, and collected. You don't seem like Rico Suave. So never take longer than a minute to resolve a close, and you want to be as short and terse and to the point as possible with this, because that's going to seem much more confident. This is kind of like the same one. Don't talk yourself out of a sale.
Gosh, I did it like 5 times. I ruined a whole day.
Yeah.
One day at a cell. Yeah, I had a 99 125 and talking. I got comfortable, and then I told the guy I wasn't from Kansas City. And
Right?
He went in to get his credit card and came back out. I was like, you know what, man? Like the guy I've been with, I've known him really well.
Yeah.
He's like, just quick rule for you. Next time, don't talk too much. He was like, I bought from you. It's not about the bug service. He's like, but if you're not here,
He said that to you?
yeah. He said, if you're not here and I need your help, then like you can't help me. And I was like, man, fuck. It ruined my whole day.
Yeah.
Ruined my whole day.
And this is something that as a rookie I was really bad about, but just because like I don't know, it's a tough job, man. So anytime you get a nice person, you want to like kind of hold on to that.
Yeah. Gives you good energy. Gives you take your time with those people, man, because like you're gonna do a lot of assholes. And like you said, I mean, hold on to the good ones because like a bad interaction can ruin your whole day. That's why he's so good. He doesn't let things affect him. You know.
What else ducks back, baby?
Yeah, he just keeps on rolling, and just like sometimes it's hard. It's like, fuck, that dude's a dick. Yeah, it turns you into a dick.
Yeah, and then he gave the perfect example. He thought he was cool and like friendly with this dude, and then he told him he wasn't from KC, and it swayed the dude's buying decision. All in all, the kind of the rule of sales is basically you give them the least amount of information possible in order to make a buying decision, and then any information you can have beyond that is going to be a bonus, and it's going to solidify the sale. Once they're showing interest, you close them. You don't go on rambling about, your girlfriend from 5 years ago that broke your heart and that bullshit, right? And then this is one as well. Don't use the same clothes twice. Anybody, Devin or Andrew, want to explain why not?
Because I already told you no once from that.
Yeah.
Why would they?
Yeah, so it's just
why would they buy it from the second time around?
If you use the same clothes twice, they're gonna immediately remember when you said that last time and they said no, and it's gonna trigger that no again. And then secondly, it's just kind of stupid, right? Like, you're gonna be here tomorrow, right? Well, no, I'm not.
Yeah.
Resolve these clothes. Well, you're gonna be here tomorrow, right? Well, no, I'm still not gonna be here. You know what I'm saying? This morning or afternoon, neither. You know what I mean? Like, that's when you start using responsibility, feature, urgency, bandwagon closes, and all that jazz.
Even though I guess you could use that twice in a way of like you resolved ace and then use the same clothes, and if like your ace worked, they're gonna be here tomorrow because them not being there tomorrow was
Doesn't
just
matter.
an objection. Yeah.
Yeah. What I would say is that like you can use the same clothes. I still try to not even do like the same clothes, like alternate choice. Like for example, there's 4 versions of there's like 4 levels to the alternate choice: morning or afternoon, today or tomorrow, front and back, 11 or 5. So those are all different closes, but of the same style. You can repeat it that way. I would recommend still not even doing that. I would use like 2 other closes before you go back to that. But you definitely don't use. Does 11 or 5 work better? No. Resolve ace close. Does 11 or 5 work better? No. Like, you definitely don't repeat the same verbatim close. Any questions about any of this? Okay. So I'm going to, since you already have a list of aces, I'm going to actually go over different types of closes. How long have we been on? Film?
We have 28 minutes, 30 minutes.
Okay, cool. This will get us to the hour.
I should have printed out those for people.
I mean, I can.
Okay.
Can you print me one up? You gotta put it here.
I'm gonna put these up here and then see if you guys can give them to us. Oh shit! Did y'all get that?
He did.
Yeah, I got it.
Okay. My bad. I should have asked. I have it right here though. Okay. So
I don't know what that is.
light bulb close. Can anybody tell me what that is?
You're gonna be here tomorrow, right?
Yep. You're gonna be here tomorrow, right? And just to kind of explain the effectiveness of the light bulb close, I use the light bulb close to get their name. As soon as I'm transitioning into service, now the first thing, wait, I'm sorry, what was your name? They're always going to give you the name like 90% of the time. Sometimes you'll have an asshole who won't, but you're gonna be here tomorrow, right? The key of a light bulb close is it's supposed to seem like a light bulb went off in your head. You've been talking and talking and talking. You're like, wait, you're gonna be here, right? You literally interrupt yourself. The reason it's so effective is because you interrupt yourself and therefore it seems really unscripted. And when you catch them off guard by seeming unscripted, they're gonna give you an honest answer. 9 times out of 10, right? So that's why the light bulb close is gonna be so effective. Alternate choice. One of the guys that is a rookie, not any experience rep, because I've talked about this one so much. What's an example of this?
Oh, the 11 or 5.
11 or 5.
I was about to say, you just said it.
Yeah, right. 11 or 5. Front or back. So do you want me to start in the front yard or the backyard?
Is the garage?
So that would be, you can use that as a responsibility or feature. So today or tomorrow, morning or afternoon. So there's gonna be tons of versions of this. Okay, alternate choice. Bandwagon. Anybody got any idea? Or I guess before I move forward, any questions about these two? No? Okay. Bandwagon. Does anybody have any idea besides you what this would be?
It's like, oh, so I'm going to be servicing your neighbors here tomorrow. I can fit you in between 11 and 3.
That's
Does
perfect.
that work for you?
That's exactly what it is. Did
that's
you know
good.
that or did you just wing that?
I've heard it.
Okay. So what I like to do is like we're getting John done at 10. At 10. Stacy at 3. Can I fit you in between at 12? So we're getting John done at 10, Stacy done at 3. Can I fit you in between them at 12, or would better work after? Right? So right then I just did a bandwagon and an alternate choice close in one. I just bedazzled them, man. They're gonna definitely give me their credit card now. Like, whoa, which way am I going? Okay. Discount close. Anybody got any idea what this would be like?
That'd be like, tell you what, I'll throw in the bushes for free.
Close.
Or is it like kind of the scarcity thing? I only have these 2 spots left
That's sense of
at
urgency.
this
that's-
discount.
You're close. That's the close in itself. It's called an urgency close. Basically, a discount close is like, listen, man, save me the trouble of coming back. I'll go ahead and do that first one for just $49. Does that work?
Act like it's hurting your feelings though if
yeah.
you're doing that though.
Yes, right here. Attach pain to giving discounts. Do not be a price whore.
Because then it just makes it sound cheap and like nobody wants to buy anything cheap. You know, people fall in love. I've read this from Gary Vee. People love people don't want free, they want discounts because they think they're getting a good deal. If it's free, everybody can have it. You know,
They
like
want you to feel
they want to
bad
feel
about
like they got a good deal, like you did something more special than John down the street. Like you beat them, haha. But if you get it to him free, then you most likely gave it to him free too, and nobody cares about it. You know, like nobody's even gonna have any pride from that. So
Yeah, and I literally, like one day, I don't remember if this was like my second year or my third year, but I remember this moment. I was probably struggling, desperate for a sale or whatever. And that's one thing you never do. You never get desperate, because if they see that you're desperate, they're not going to buy from you. But I resolved base close and went a few rounds with him. Then I was like, all right, man, I'll just do that first one for free for you. Does that work? I don't remember exactly what I said, but what he said to me, he's like, hey, man, nothing that's free is ever worth it. Thank you. Have a good day, and shut the door. So like, I mean, I still give out free services, but you want that to be kind of your last straw, because if you're doing that early, you're devaluing the service in the eyes of the customer. You seem like you don't care about what you're doing, and then ultimately it's just going to come off as desperate grabby and not worth it, right?
I didn't sell that many free 89s.
Boy.
I really don't think I gave them away that much. I never tried to use that unless I had to.
discount close.
I mean, I just think free, like, I would say, like, hey, I'll come in here and do it for literally $15.
Yeah.
And like at that point,
They're like
just-
$15. What I was gonna say is that ultimately, like,
right?
They're not pink.
oh, wow, that sucks. There was probably more back there if you know how to change it.
Yeah, they're all color. They're not black.
Oh, well, that don't matter. The color has black in it.
I don't know. Wasn't working.
Yeah.
Oh, well.
If I can pitch you in, I'll do that first one for just $49. You really want to attach paint here. Again, as Andrew said, you don't want to just be throwing it around left and right. But what were you saying earlier, Josh? You gave me an urgency close. Will you give me an attempt?
The urgency close?
Yeah.
I completely understand, but I do only have 2 spots left with this discount. Or
Very-
half off discount.
Yeah. So pretty much how I do it is, listen, Devin. I literally just have 2 spots left. If I can fit, well, actually, that would be the ace. You basically just say, I have just 2 spots left. Does 12 o'clock work for you? So one thing that I was about to mess up is in the resolve ace close process, while I'm closing, I don't have to give out another ace in the middle of my close. You've already given them ace before the close. Again, that's the last part of the process. But example is, I literally just have 2 spots left. Does 11
He's
work
gonna
for you?
send you what they got.
Spots of what? Like, what do you mean? Like,
So
time slots?
yeah, time slots to like actually complete the service. So when you're out there, you'll have an app and it'll have like the agreement on it. So name, street address, email, phone number, all that jazz. You'll go through and fill out the specific bugs that they're dealing with. You'll get them to sign the agreement, and then what I do is very last thing that I do is I select the time window. So one thing is that's tricky about this is if you have like 15 spots for the next day, and then you use this close, try not to show them the iPad, because then they're like, oh man, well I see a bunch more than just 2, but very rarely will they catch that. But the point of it is you want to develop urgency to it. I literally have just 2 spots left. Does 1 o'clock work for you? And again, it's just building a sense of urgency to it. Okay. Oh, we're missing some of them.
That's probably what that other sheet was. Here, you got bandwagon next.
Yeah. I was about to say, I already did bandwagon.
Discount.
I'll do discount. I'm gonna do responsibility, and then I'm gonna do. So we're supposed to have 10. That's 4, 6. Responsibility feature be 7. I have some written down in my notebook too.
Pride, sincerity,
Pride, sincerity. Yeah, that's right. Will that put us at 10?
statement.
Statement. There you go. Okay, responsibility close. Does anybody have any idea what this is? Nope.
Is it like when you say you need to do something?
So that's called kind of like building urgency, I think. The first thing I need to do when I'm here tomorrow is up in the eaves. Is that what you're talking about? Yeah, so that's building urgency. But close but no cigar, my friend.
This is where you leave a responsibility like up to them to trust you.
There you
pretty
go.
much.
Yep. So basically,
Or for you to trust them.
you give them something to do. Now, I'll go ahead and include the indoor mice and rat treatment so you're not dealing with those guys this winter. Can you just make sure to leave the garage open so we can set up in there? I'll make sure to go ahead and hit the entire property for the fleas and ticks so Bingo here is not getting chewed up anymore. Can you make sure to leave the back gate unlocked? I'd really love to go ahead and include the basement for you. I know tons of people are dealing with the camel crickets here. Can you just make sure to let my guy in tomorrow? So you give them a responsibility. And when you're doing that, they're not thinking, yes, no, do I want this service? They're thinking, oh, well, can I leave the back gate unlocked? Oh, can I leave the garage door open? And so that's why it's like, it's so effective. So leave garage open. Leave back gate unlocked.
I love when people are like, what should I do with Bingo? You're like, oh yeah.
Yeah, right. And then my guy in tomorrow. And I'm kind of shorthanding these, but you guys kind of get the point. The responsibility is you're giving them something to do, so that they're not necessarily thinking yes or no. Do I want the service? They're thinking, well, can I actually leave the gate unlocked? Can I leave the garage door open? Will I be here? Blah blah blah. Feature close. Somebody give me an example of a feature close.
thrown in an ace. Thrown in an ace with the close.
Aphid treatments.
Yeah, essentially, right? So when I'm here tomorrow, would you like us to go ahead and treat the basement as well? It's included. So this is actually Brad Farr's go-to close. Brad Farr, the #1 rep in the company, did 1,300 accounts, set industry records, man. Probably made fucking $300,000-$400,000 on personal sales. His first close is, now would you guys like me to go ahead and include the garage? Or would you guys like me to go ahead and do the garage as well? It's included.
That's his first.
That's his first close.
Because you're saying that you're gonna have to do a close 2-3 times.
On average, 4 to 7 times.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that's 4 to 7.
Yeah, but he
Racks, too.
Brad, we actually had a team lead meeting with him. He only uses like 4 to 5 different closes, but in different variations. Which, I mean, if you're as good as he is, hey, I'm gonna listen to you, dog.
Right.
But I would recommend trying to diversify yourself and using like,
Final works for you.
yeah, right. But that's one thing. This year, I actually started using this close as my first close and said, wait, you're gonna be here tomorrow, right?
How many times did you close first time, you think?
I can't really tell you, man.
Did it work, though, is my point?
Yeah, for sure. And the reason I think it works so much better is than the light bulb. The light bulb works really well because it's unscripted and it's going to draw out an honest answer. But a lot of the times they're like, no, I'm not going to be here tomorrow. I work. And therefore, I made them verbalize the word no, which negates all of my yes training. Versus this. Now, would you guys like me to go ahead and include the garage as well? It's included. Would you like me to do the basement while we're here? It's included. Would you like me to do the back deck while I'm here? It's included. So you basically like ask them if they want an additional part of the service. So would you like me to do the garage? The garage, and then I'm gonna kind of just put quotations there. So back deck, basement.
Maybe a shed or something.
Yep, shed, interior. So there's all kinds of variations of it.
So just real quick, I don't want to talk too much, but I think, don't you think that the light bulb close and that could be basically putting them no just as fast? Because a lot of people don't want the inside, don't want their dogs around it. Like, even though you can harp on it so much that it's pet free, it's pet friendly. Like, a lot of people, don't want it inside their house, close to, wherever their kids are going to be. Like that, I think that just as fast could be like.
Yeah, and I see your point. And yeah, you're right. The reason I did pick this up is because Brad Farr used it.
Right,
I'm gonna
okay,
take
yeah,
every bit I can
right.
from him. But then secondly, I feel like I got less no's on this than I did on that. Okay. However, regardless, if they're like, no, I'm not going to be here tomorrow, or no, I don't want you to include the garage, you're like, perfect. Well, what was your last name? Because right then they haven't said, no, I don't want it. They're saying, no, I'm not going to be here, or no, I don't want the garage. And so what I do is I just very confidently assume and move forward. And if they feel like you're confident, they see that you're confident, they're going to feel more confident in you. Versus if they're like, oh, no, I'm not going to be here tomorrow. Okay, well, I tell you what, that's no problem. I can go ahead and do the bushes as well. Does that sound fair? Like, they're like, wait, yeah, nah, dude, I said I want to do it. I just can't be here. You know what I mean? And so regardless, if they give you another objection, you go back into the resolve as closed. But if they say, no, I'm not going to be here, or no, I don't want you to do the back deck, just confidently move forward. Awesome, man. That's probably fine. We don't have to do that on this first one. What was your last name? Just confidently move forward.
So what do you say for the light bulb if they're like, no, I'm not going to be here? You say,
Absolutely, man. Scheduling's the easiest part. What was your last name? So like, because at that point they're saying, no, I'm not going to be here. So what they're implying is a scheduling issue.
And you have a thing called a welcome letter that you can use as well. I don't know if that's
That
too
won't be
in-depth.
the case this year. They're changing it.
We know the welcome letter?
We'll talk about it later.
but then then if they say, if they back out from the last name, then you go back into the whole
You go back into resolve as closed. If you say, what was your last name? They're like, nah, dude, I don't really want it. I'm not interested. Like, of course, man. And believe me, I'm sure you're not seeing much inside. I'd be shocked if you were, right? It's so early. It's only May. It's mainly been out here in the yard with the fleas and ticks, especially here in White Plains. I'll tell you what, I actually have a program for those. A's closed. So no matter what they say, and this is a really important thing, once you're in the closing process, you do not go back to selling. You do not go back to selling. You stay in the closing process. Because selling is emotional. When I'm selling you, that's an emotional conversation. When I'm closing you, it's logic, right? People make buying decisions emotionally, but then they justify them logically. And so once you're in the closing process, you have to keep it in the closing process. Do not get emotional. Resolve A's close. Resolve A's close until you have nothing left. Like, dude, literally, that's one thing that really worked for me this year is I realized not many people are going to listen to your entire presentation. The people that aren't going to listen to your entire presentation aren't qualified prospects. But the people that do listen to your entire presentation, that means that they had some level of interest. Their gears were turning at some point. And once you get to that resolve A's close process, man, you got to be like a hungry dog, dude. You got to just hone in and literally close them 4 to 7 times. I do not leave a door until I've given them every single thing I can think of. I'm doing it free 89. They're getting their bushes, the back deck, the fleas, the rodents, the moles and voles. They're getting everything done. And if they say no to that, I ain't got nothing else for you, dog. Peace. You know?
For sure.
Yeah. Loser. You lost. But yeah. So that's kind of that's why you're provided with so many closes, and there's still 3 more. And then there's like literally 14 aces or something like that. And so you have enough arrows in your quiver to keep shooting, right? Any questions about anything? Okay, so these next 2, I think, are very similar. And I don't even necessarily think of these as closes. I think of them as more of preface to closes. And so you're gonna have a pride close and a sincerity close. They're kind of similar and interchangeable. I wouldn't go on to doing both of these in one. And personally, I don't use the sincerity close. I think it comes off as, I don't know, like desperate. I use the pride close. So, let me make sure I'm writing it right. I think I'm missing a page. Will you read it off to me how it goes?
Yeah, pride. I take a lot of pride in the work I do here with Aptiv. And it says hold your hand over your heart. Make it seem sincere and genuine.
So again, this is why I think this is more of a preface to a close than an actual close, because they're going to give you the objection or whatever it may be, and what you're supposed to do is you look them in the eyes, you attach pain, and you put your hand over your heart. You're like, listen, Devin, I'm really proud of what I do here with Aptiv, and bottom line, I know you will be too once you see the service. All I need is 1 or 2 for you to love me for the rest of your life. If I can help you out, I'll go ahead and knock another $30 off that first service. I'll get it done for just 49 bucks. Does that sound fair? And so I always use a pride or a sincerity close with, does that sound fair? Or how does that sound? Which isn't technically a close. And that's why I look at this as more of a preface to a close. But the point of it is it has to come off as really genuine and really sincere. And the way to do that is to put your hand over your heart, look them in the eyes, and before you go to A's, you like kind of shake your head. I'll do another $30 off, okay? Do it for just 49 bucks. Does that sound fair? And then at that point, they're feeling like they beat you a little bit. But I mean, you're still in control, right? But they're feeling like, oh man, I done beat this dude down. I'll give him a shot, you know? And then sincerity close is kind of similar, but
I'd love to earn your business. I'll tell you what I can do for you.
yeah. So what I